And all I want for Christmas is to know exactly how you're supposed to look after this many dogs when you're running from the police. So the Powercab, I've been playing around with it today. The Line 6 POD Go I got a while ago, and one of the things about it that excited me when it was announced at NAMM was the amp out feature. Now that ended up being a bit of a disappointment in practical reality, because when I went to plug my normal presets in front of an amp or behind an amp, you know, in the return, everything was incredibly bright, especially when you introduce gain. And then what that meant was that essentially it wasn't a plug and play thing. I'd have to go through and kind of adjust all my presets, potentially even change the amp settings. That would change things in a way that I wouldn't necessarily be able to use that preset to front of house as well as the amp. And getting slobber and stuff. So for that reason it was a bit of a disappointment. This wasn't even something that I'd really thought about until today, but the amp out now is suddenly way more useful given that I've got the Powercab, because I can run the amp out post IR, or pre-IR sorry, and run this the same way that I'm running with the Helix, and then the amp out goes into here, and I can run this either with a cream back or I think in the demo there you saw me using the Essex because I was using a train wreck style amp. Basically it's not too much fiddling at all. I'll just show you in a sec how I'm going about setting this up and how I would use this, and probably how I will use this if I ever get to do a gig again. It's a relatively straightforward setup, and all I'm really having to do to achieve this and make a preset work between what I had before and what I want to have now is that I just have to move the cab to the very end of the signal chain so that this still gets fed my reverbs and delays rather than my normal setup where those would come after the cab. And then I can turn off the cab on the amp out source. I can put it pre-cab, pre-IR, and the job's a good one. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised by this as well, because up until this point I've not really got any results out of the amp out that I was hoping to, and it was something that I was really looking forward to using with a real amp, but I've not found it works particularly well with a real amp, but it does work really well with the Powercab, so I just thought I'd say that quickly. I'm not sure I'd use that Essex speaker for this kind of thing again. I've just updated it, and there's a couple of Mesa speakers now. There's the Black Shadow, and also there's an EVM 12, so like an Electro Voice speaker, 200 watt thing, so I might use that instead, but I'm finding it works quite well, and I'm not having to make tweaks to get things working, which is one of the things that I was a little bit worried about, and also one of the reasons that I hadn't grabbed a Powercab before, although I've been sort of interested in them. I thought maybe my presets would need a lot of tweaking to get to work, but it's just not been the case, so that's kind of good. So I just wanted to show you what the process is for me to make these patches Powercab ready. So I just basically press action on here on the cab. So this is where you'll normally see the cab, and you'll normally see reverbs and delay post cab. I can press action and then scroll to the right, put it at the very end. That's step one. Step two, I go into global settings, so you press down these two buttons together to get global settings, and then you'll see this little toggle in the middle here. You can either have the amp out be like showing you the main out, so exactly the same as what you would get out of these two, or you can have it set to pre-cab and IR. So basically now you're hearing the signal from the POD Go just without that IR, which is ideal for sending into the PowerCab. So it's literally just a two-step process to get my patches sounding basically how I want them to sound through the PowerCab, so I'm quite pleased about that as well. This is Fenton up close. Fenton? Doggy? Sausage? Fenton? Oh. Fenty? I think he's had enough. Are you supposed to focus on a dog that's this close? Fenton? Sausage? What are you saying? Dog? Clearly I'm great at wildlife photography. What are you growling at? What are you growling at? So anyway, that's just what I've been experimenting with the PowerCab today, and again, quite happy so far. I wasn't necessarily expecting to get results like this quickly. I was expecting to have to put in a bit of work, so that's good. If you want to like and subscribe, if you want to see more of my journey with any of the stuff, you know, there's plenty of lessons, also plenty of gear demos, not just Line 6 stuff, fractal audio, Strymon Iridium, headrush gig board, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, if you could like and subscribe, and there's plenty of lessons and all sorts of other stuff, hopefully you'll enjoy what you find on the channel. Cheers!